Hey, what's up? My name is Cydni. It's Monday and we're gonna mukbang. If I understand this correctly, I get to just sit and eat food and talk shit with you all. And so that's what I'm gonna do. So I have my favorite type of instant ramen. It's an Indonesian brand, Goreng. Shout out to my best friend, my sister, Pat. We used to eat these. We would take mental health days, mental health half days in high school and go to her mom's house. Hi, Mama Wanda. And we would eat these and just like live our best. Also beef rendang. Oh my God, just the best. And so I did I'm messy. Whatever, I'll clean up. So I did a quick pickle jalapeno because they were getting a little, and instead of adding sweetener, I just cut up a few dates, put that in there. I'm out of like all my vinegars, so I had to use rice wine vinegar. I know it's not canon, but also like I'm gonna eat it, not you. You're fine. There's kimchi, broccoli, random broccoli in the fridge, and 2 eggs, and then ABC. It's this like red chili. It's really delicious and sweet and spicy. And then homemade onion bacon jam too, because this is kind of my brunch. So it's like bacon and egg, mee goreng. Yeah, it's delicious. So yeah. I hope everybody's well. There's my that's so good. This is my favorite brand. I also like what is it? My dude Kochi. I can't remember what brand, but it's a Korean brand of noodles. I also love them. But I like how springy these are. I did the regular one, but the spicy one is not spicy. So, you know, feel free. I also like to put a lot of stuff in my noodles, especially since I mainly don't eat breakfast. So this is like brunch. So it's important to get your calories in, folks. Oh, and I have crispy onions and furikake seasoning. So it's a lot of influences in this dish. But again, that's what's so good about cooking at home. You can put whatever the fuck you want in it. So I'm drinking Spendrift cranberry raspberry one, and a little bit too much maple, but I'm gonna drink it anyways. But it kind of tastes like a pop. And cold brew. So the cold brew I use this time is from Cocoa Cinnamon. It's a concentrate, and I can't remember the beans, but I'll just link their website below. They're local, they're dope, they're not annoying. And so non-toxic coffee. Cheers. I like a Spro Pop or a cold brew pop. So it's Father's Day coming up this Sunday, which I did not know. If you know me, you know that I am a daddy's girl. I'm a daddy's girl. My dad was like my first best friend. And something impactful that happened while I was managing the shop, and it was right across from the hospital. My dad has survived a massive stroke, and that, you know, had him almost completely paralyzed to the left side, and he was in the hospital for 40 days. And I was managing a shop that was in walking distance to the hospital that he was in. And I lie not, I would like, my mom would stay the night with him, because in our family we don't do that, like, you know, like, just when we go to the if we go to the doctor, people come with us. If you're in the hospital, someone's going to be with there at all times. If you're not aware of medical racism and just how people treat you, when you feel like people don't care, when they feel like people don't care about you, they don't give you the best care because they think that this is going to be consequence free. And this is something that I've learned even as a child. My parents would come up to every school that I've been to. My parents would come up, they'd meet my teachers, they would be visible, because they just instilled in us that, like, not only is it enough to care about the people that you care about, but you got to show up for them, and you have to show up for them in such a way that whoever interacts with them knows that they are not without care. They're not without an army of bad bitches behind them that will turn this place out if they try you. And so I believe, and it's unfortunate, but if you look at anything, any type of historical or present day data in America, when it comes to almost every aspect of our lives, but especially the medical field, Black people, like, have to have someone there that will advocate for them. You almost have to, like, learn whatever, like, become a researcher for whatever you're going in there for, because they cannot be trusted. And my parents have shown up for me, even career-wise. Like, before my dad had, gotten sick and stuff, he would be, him and my mom and my older brother and my sister-in-law and, like, some of my friends who aren't coffee people, like, they would be at latte art competitions to show up and show out for me. They would come up in the shop and say, like, hello and stuff, because they want it to be known. They want me to know that that they care about me, but they also want everyone around me to know that there's a lot of people that care about me. And it's unfortunate that you have to, like, live a life like that, but it is what it is, you know? That's the thing I love about Glitter Cap and Getchusomegear, and the variety of, you know, different coffee entities, GoFundMe and stuff like that. Many times people who are from historically exploited communities or historically excluded communities, that exclusion and that exploitation is not exclusively to their career. And so you have people who, for whatever reason, whether it is that their parents don't, you know, support or recognize them as the complete human who they are, who has agency and dominion over, you know, the person that they present to the world, and dominion over themselves and who they love, or their parents aren't available, aren't around anymore, or, you know, all the other reasons. Now we have these entities that show up and show out for each other time and time again. And that's why it's so important, like, when you do have moments, to support stuff like, you know, Glitter Cat and Getchusomegear and GoFundMe and the Kore Directive, because they are providing that support and providing that visible support that these individuals are not alone. And if you try it, you try us. And you shouldn't do that. I wouldn't suggest that. Also, this is delicious. Shout out to the chef. And so when you're thinking about this in the context of, like, okay, as a coffee professional, or, like, if you are a coffee shop owner, how do you show up for your employees that facilitate your profits? Did you show up for them during the times where, you know, Non-coffee stuff may be affecting them, or coffee stuff may be affecting them, or your clientele may be harassing them. Do you show up for them when, if you know, which if you're not paying attention, that's the only way that you don't know, that your black baristas are not getting tipped the same amount as your other baristas? Do you show up for them in a monetary way? Do you set a standard of care and consideration in your shop? Do you have policies that reinforce your ideals that you say you have on your Instagram? Because my mother is a saint. And if you know me, you know I love my mama. And she was with my dad in the hospital every night. She slept there. She was with him. She had to like get a little rough and rowdy with the nurses because they were over medicating him when he first went in there. They were over medicating him and they weren't listening to him, and at night they don't like turn the patients and stuff like that. And so she like had to advocate with him, for him with the health insurance thing and stuff like that. And you do that not just because that's what you do for people you love, but love is kind of like, although love is not transactional, love is like a bank, you know? Every day, every moment where you show care for the person and you show that you love them in the way that the best way that you can, it sets the scene and it facilitates a relationship that allows people to feel good about showing up for you. A lot of times, you know, I'm the pea-berry, single sausage, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I'm single, and when you date, like, you have all of these, like, mainly, like, cis-het men who will sit up and be like, I want a woman who will do X, Y, Z, and it's just like, where have you invested into a relationship that would facilitate that being anything but toxic? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, of course, I'm completely biased towards my dad because that's my dad. Like, one of my first, one of the things that I talk about when I talk about how much I love him is when we were younger, we used to go to the movies together as a family all the time. And we saw, what is it? Planet of the Apes, was it the 1997 one? I think so. Or the not newish ones. I don't know. We was kids. And that movie terrified me. And we were there, and my mom and my brother were having a good time. And I was just like scared the entire time. And he's like, hey, well, come on. And he left the movie. He wasn't scared, but he left the movie with me. And we went and got frozen yogurt. And then we waited for them to have their good time. And then we came back. And that was something special we got to do together. When I was in high school, my dad had a more flexible schedule than my mom. And so, like, there was times when, like, my period would come. And I would, like, text him. And I'd be like, code red. And he's like, do you need the portion or the full system? And if I said, like, the full system, he would get me my tampons, my panty liners, you know, and put in a peppermint patty or a Reese's in that bag and drop it off to me at high school. Like, that's care, that's consideration, that's love. And, like, I'm not the most, like, quote-unquote romantic person, but I'm more like, let's find the magic in the mundane and make that the most magical part of our lives. And I'm just, like, really appreciative of having parents. I think they've been married for, like, 35 years this week or something like that. I don't know. Having parents who show that example, even though their relationship really doesn't have anything to do with their relationship with us, because adult relationships and parent-child relationships are not, like, they ain't got nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? But the care and the consideration that they have for us, and that they have for each other, facilitates people showing up and showing out, and facilitates you suiting up when you have to, and you smiling and enjoying joy together. And so I'm just like really appreciative of being in this field that is not the most conducive place for a Black person that has a decent sense of self-worth. It's not. Y'all will go out of your way to break us. And part of the reason, like, I have, you know, whatever I go through and whatever I work through is because parts of me, I allowed you all to stain with your perspective of me. Despite the fact that I am so privileged to be so loved by a significant amount of people, and I've curated this community where they love me and they see greatness in me and I see greatness in them, and we love each other. And then the most impactful thing that I will remember in the quiet of 3 a.m. because I've had too much cold brew is some bullshit somebody that hates me said. I don't know. It's like a toxic trait, you know? It's a toxic trait. Because, like, there's so many people that love you, right? But you only, like, consider yourself through the perspective of people who don't. And I think it's like a power dynamic. They're the ones who can hire me. They're the ones who can recommend me for shit. It's also like human nature to want to be loved, want to be seen, heard, and appreciated. But, like, I think we have to, like, 2021, in the spirit of getting free, because Juneteenth is Saturday, and if you're local, I'll post a link to the thing that's happening in Hillsborough to celebrate Juneteenth. But one of the things that I want to free myself from is from the shackles of the perspective and the opinions of people who I already know don't fuck with me. Because sometimes that's all you hear. And it's just like, what the hell, dude? Get it together. You hear all these, like, you're great, or even like, oh, that's good, and the one person that leaves, and we do that with, like, what do you call those things? Yelp. Like, people would be like, this is great coffee, this is great coffee, and then the one person that's like, this shit is whack, and you're posting it and you're talking to your baristas about it. I don't know, like, we allow the few to control us, but people who don't care about people never do that. People who are inconsiderate, people who want to support inequitable societal dynamics, do not really worry about the consequences of our perspective of them when we call them out. That's why, like, call outs are necessary, but call outs are not the end all be all, because they don't care. They don't give a shit. They didn't like you, no way. And they're confident in their right to be the way that they are. That's bullshit. But it's something that we can learn. A lot of us who care about like the impact we have in this world will hone in to like negative shit, whether it's valid or not. And I'm not saying like don't listen to criticism, because even your haters got a little ring of truth to them. You know what I'm saying? You have to have the humility and the personal confidence to like hear people be like, fuck you, and be like, all right, you a hater, but you may be right. But we can't like only hear that. Ooh, in the spirit of sweet finishes, I was in Target, and I saw this Kit Kat duo. It's called Mocha and Chocolate, and I just want to try it because, you know, I have a little dessert. You know what I'm saying? I like to put a little sweetness to every meal. Can I open it? I'm a little flitty. Hold on. Wait, did you do your Kit Kat thing before I could? Son of a bitch. Okay. But shout out to people like my dad, Bishop Dr. Cydni-Patterson. Yes, a bishop. I know, all these titties. Supposed to be holy. I'm glad they don't watch my YouTube. But shout out to my dad, shout out to my mother, shout out to like the people that love me. Shout out to organizations, shout out and to support organizations like Getchusomegear and Cat Barista and GoFundMe and Chocolate Barista and Kore Directive. I'm gonna link to how you can support them in the description box. I'm also gonna link how you can support me, because like, baby, a little bit of financial support would be great. You know what I'm saying? Let's communicate. I think that's from me. Okay, but let's try this. Okay, that wasn't popping what I thought it was gonna pop. I mean, it's good. It's good. I forgot how much I like Kit Kats. With the wafers? Look at this cross section. Well, thanks for spending your time with me. I'll see you next Monday.